Number one, it's impossible for us to focus on the two. We're just not that gifted. Sorry. This quote seems to imply that the person or group being referred to lacks the ability to focus on two things simultaneously because they do not possess the necessary level of talent or skill. The phrase, "we're just not that gifted, sorry," suggests that the speaker believes their capabilities are limited in this regard, and they are expressing regret or apology for not being able to handle multiple tasks or topics at once. Essentially, it's a recognition of one's limitations and an acknowledgement that they cannot excel at multitasking or dealing with two specific things simultaneously. Number two, men are driven by who they are, what they do, and how much they make. This quote is expressing a generalization about the motivations and priorities of men, suggesting that their actions and decisions are heavily influenced by three main factors: who they are. This refers to a person's identity, including their values, beliefs, personality, and sense of self. In the context of the quote, it suggests that men's motivations are shaped by their self-concept, their roles in society, and their personal characteristics. What they do. This aspect highlights the significance of a man's actions and accomplishments. It suggests that men are often motivated by their achievements, the work they engage in, and the impact they make through their actions. This can include their careers, hobbies, and other pursuits that contribute to their sense of purpose and accomplishment. How much they make. This pertains to a man's financial success and material wealth. It implies that financial considerations such as income, wealth, and economic status play a significant role in motivating men's decisions and behaviors. Number three, remember this, the number one cause of failure in this country is the fear of failure. Fear paralyzes you from taking action. This quote emphasizes the idea that the primary reason for failure in a country, presumably the United States in this context, is the fear of failing itself. The quote suggests that fear, particularly the fear of failure, can be so powerful that it prevents individuals from taking the necessary actions to succeed. Here's the breakdown of the meaning: fear of failure. This refers to the apprehension or anxiety that people often experience when they contemplate the possibility of not achieving their goals or not living up to their own or others' expectations. This fear can be paralyzing and can prevent individuals from pursuing opportunities or taking risks. Cause of failure. The quote suggests that this fear of failure is the leading cause of unsuccessful outcomes, implying that many people do not achieve their goals or reach their full potential because they are held back by this fear. Paralysis. The term paralyzes in this context indicates that fear immobilizes people, making them unable to take action. It keeps them stuck in a state of inaction or avoidance, preventing them from moving forward and seizing opportunities. Number four, you control what you can control: your image, the way you conduct yourself, the way you let men talk to and approach you, and use that to get the relationship you want. This quote emphasizes the idea of personal agency and control in the context of relationships, particularly the dynamics between individuals and how they shape their own experiences. Here's a breakdown of the meaning: you control what you can control. This part of the quote acknowledges that there are aspects of any situation or relationship that are within your control, and it encourages focusing on these controllable elements. It suggests that you should not worry excessively about things beyond your control, but rather direct your efforts where you can make a difference. Your image. This refers to how you present yourself to others, both in terms of appearance and behavior. It implies that you have the ability to shape the impression you make on others, which can influence the way they perceive and interact with you. The way you conduct yourself. This relates to your behavior, manners, and the way you carry yourself in various situations. It suggests that by acting with confidence, respect, and authenticity, you can influence how others perceive you and respond to you. The way you let men talk to and approach you. This part of the quote focuses on setting boundaries and expectations for how you allow others, specifically men, to communicate with you and engage with you. It highlights the importance of self-respect, communication standards, and asserting your preferences in relationships. Use that to get the relationship you want. This final part of the quote suggests that by consciously managing these controllable aspects, you can shape the type of relationship you desire. It implies that by being mindful of your image, conduct, and communication boundaries, you can attract and foster the kind of relationship that aligns with your goals and values. Number 5, stop heaping your own definition of love on men and recognize that men love differently. This quote is advocating for understanding and appreciating the differences in how men express and experience love, and it calls for avoiding the imposition of one's own specific concept or expectations of love onto men. Here's a breakdown of the meaning. Stop heaping your own definition of love on men. This part of the quote suggests that people, presumably women, based on the context, should refrain from projecting their personal ideas or expectations of what love should be onto men. It implies that individuals should not impose their own standards or definitions of love onto others, particularly men. Recognize that men love differently. This part highlights the notion that men often express and experience love in ways that may be different from what some might expect or assume. It encourages recognizing and respecting these differences in the way men demonstrate affection and care. Number 6, it never ceases to amaze me how much people talk about relationships, think about them, read about them, ask about them, even get in them without a clue how to move them forward. This quote expresses the speaker's observation and amazement at how much people invest in discussions, thoughts, reading, and questions related to relationships, even though many individuals seem to lack the knowledge or understanding needed to progress or develop those relationships. Here's a breakdown of the meaning. People's involvement in relationships. The quote highlights the significant attention and interest that people give to relationships. This can involve conversations with others, personal contemplation, reading articles or books about relationships, and seeking advice. Lack of understanding in moving relationships. Forward, despite the intense focus on relationships, the quote suggests that many individuals lack the necessary insight or understanding of how to make progress in their relationships. They might not have a clear direction or effective strategies for taking their relationships to the next level or for navigating challenges that arise. Number 7, it's not the guy who determines whether you're a sports fish or a keeper, it's you. This quote is empowering and emphasizes the idea that a person has the agency and control to determine their own worth and value in a relationship. Here's a breakdown of the meaning. This quote uses a metaphor to describe two different roles in a romantic context. This term is often used in dating or relationship contexts to describe someone who is pursued for temporary, casual, or short-term interactions. Similar to the idea of catch and release in fishing, it implies a lack of commitment or a focus on superficial qualities. This term suggests someone who is considered valuable, worth keeping, and with whom a more serious and long-lasting relationship could be pursued. It implies qualities that make a person desirable for a lasting relationship. The quote emphasizes that the individual, the person being pursued or in the relationship, plays a significant role in determining how they are treated and the type of relationship they have. It suggests that one's self-respect, boundaries, and personal decisions shape whether they are treated as a sports fish or a keeper.